Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. Wow, Crisis on Infinite Earths will be the next Arrowverse crossover for next season. Now that's very exciting and everything, but there's two things that have to happen here. We need Green Lantern and we need Batman. You cannot do this story without having them. There is no legal reason with DC and Warner Brothers owning everything that you can't have Batman and Green Lantern. Hey, they've got the bloody actor who plays Diggle, for Christ's sake, as Lantern. It's already been set up. So it'd be bloody ridiculous if we at least don't get Green Lantern, but we want Batman as well. I mean, as I say, yes, Green Lantern has got a movie in the works. Batman has got a movie in the works, right? It doesn't matter. Put them bloody in the crossover next year. It cannot work. It has to happen. We need those both. You know, this is a massive story. This is iconic in comic books. Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, they've really got to do something special with this, right? They can't, listen, I enjoy what they do with the crossovers, but more money has to be spent on this one. This is a special one. It really is. In the annals and history of the icons of comic books, whether it's DC or Marvel, this is one of those massive stories. Like Secret Wars is for Marvel, and different stories within history for different comics. But this is massive. We saw this coming, didn't we, anyway, because they pretty much hinted towards it in episode 2 of Elseworlds. By the way, be reviewing episode 3 later on. Haven't seen it, but will be later. Some technical issues as usual. But anyway, yeah, this is really, really exciting. Now, I would assume, because they've never really announced a crossover story this early, so I'm assuming that they're going to feed things in to within the other shows. What do I think of Legends of Tomorrow not being part of this year's crossover? I think Legends of Tomorrow will be cancelled at the end of the season, and I think taking its place, we all know, is Batwoman. Also, I think a Superman series is happening, because they haven't denied the rumours, and they always deny those rumours when it's not happening. So I expect Batgirl maybe to have not a long season. I think what they'll do is they'll take the episode count from Legends and halve it with Superman and Batwoman, and that would be awesome. That really would be awesome. Now, of course, we've got Tyler Hoechlin, is it? I always call him Hoechlin. You don't mind, do you, Tyler? After all, you did stick your finger up to the camera wearing the Superman suit, so you kind of owe us one. But yeah, Tyler is a really good Clark Kent and Superman, and I'd love to see him in his own series, and I'm sure the new Lois Lane will grow on me eventually. So yeah, Legends of Tomorrow is definitely dog feed, or whatever you want to call it. It is finished because it hasn't been as good as it was in the first season. I liked the first season, but ever since then, it's gone downhill quickly. Don't get me wrong. It's got some quality to it. I love Mick Rory. I think he's brilliant. I love Sarah as the captain. I mean, they put Constantine on there, but that was just a desperate throw at the dice. And you know what? Someone has to give Constantine at least a 5-6 episode season. I mean, it's ridiculous. He's on Legends of Tomorrow, for Christ's sake. He's so good. He's so popular. It wasn't the character's fault that the show didn't work out on NBC. They shoved him on a Friday night. He did quite well, considering. So I've gone right away from the subject, haven't I? So what do you think, guys? Is it great that we already know that next year's Arrowverse crossover is this story, Crisis on Infinite Earth? Do you think it will be awesome? Do you think it can eclipse what we've seen in the animated series? Can it be as good as that? Can it eclipse what we saw in the comic books? Or do you think it's just going to be a low-budget, lame affair, and we're not going to get much different to what we get in these ones? I hope it's epic. I hope it's epic in scale. Listen, I know about TV budgets and stuff, but at the end of the day, this is a special thing. They're going to make loads of money out of this. You know, these are anthology episodes of crossovers, and they really need to have a little bit more money. It's like Absolute Justice on Smallville. You could tell the budget went up a little bit, and it was awesome and epic. Of course, they were creative with the way they shot it, the way they directed it, but it still had a little bit more money. And you could tell that with the guest stars that they had in there. So, yeah, if you're going to do a Crisis on Infinite Earths, it really has to look like a Crisis on Infinite Earth story. It must be epic. It must be big scaled. It must be, the music must be massive. Everything. Go for it. Don't just say, oh, well, this is TV. We're going to cut corners. No. Warner Brothers must give you the budget this story deserves.